Hello, friends. My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain. And we're your fuck buddies.
We are a sex and dating advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situations and turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Simply put, we find questions either roaming the wilds of the internet, sent in by our wonderful listeners, and we answer them right here, right now, in your ears, every Monday. Sometimes other places, like the woods.
like a wooden theater out in the middle of nowhere in the Poconos.
Yeah, other places also like June 25th, Black Sheep Cocktail Lounge, Liberty Village. Some more details will be coming out soon. It's going to be a fucking fun show. We're going to have a cool guest.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be a big show. It's going to be our Pride show. We're really excited to celebrate. We're going to try to do some good deeds. And it's going to be a good time. You're not going to want to miss it. That's June 25th, 7 o'clock in Liberty Village at Black Sheep.
Yeah. You'll find details on our website, on our Instagram, pretty much everywhere. And we want you there because I'm not going to lie. A celebrity came to our last show.
It's true.
And they were
Panther Williams.
And also a bear.
A bear.
A full literal bear.
There was a bear there.
We had to use the power of Pitbull to scare a bear away because, unfortunately, the bear show was later and they mixed up their times and we.
See, it's funny because everyone's like, oh, why do you always play Pitbull at the start of the shows? Hey, you know why? It's so we don't get killed by a bear.
Yeah, it keeps you fucking safe. Thank you very much.
And on this case, for our Pride show, it will be to lure the bears in.
It'll be to lure the bears in.
Get the bears coming on.
They'll be yelling, timber.
Yeah.
Fireball. Have we become Disney podsesses?
What?
We summoned a hornet through our dulcet tones. We summoned a bear.
To be fair, all of these...
We summon Oliver every fucking week.
We're the reverse because it has been fairly aggressive every time. Mm-hmm. Every time we have had to fight for our lives.
Well, what if the hornet wanted to be Buds and I just murdered it? Like, imagine whatever princess was singing and a bird came. They were like, ah! And like hit it and it just died.
Ripped its wings off.
Like, that would suck.
Snow White just like slowly torturing a fucking bluebird.
Yeah. What if they startled her?
So just a little bit of context. We talked about it on social media a little bit, but we had the express pleasure of heading up to Camp Halcyon in the Poconos this past week. It was an absolute fucking blast. We
Unreal.
met a ton of lovely people.
The coolest people.
If you're a new listener because of the show, welcome. We're glad you're here. We do this every Monday, and
thanks, because we had a fucking blast. It was because of you.
Yeah, it was certainly one of the rowdiest audiences, but also probably one of the best audiences.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it was the
sheer positivity and energy and like funness and. We got some claps, we got some yells, we got a lot of these.
Oh, people were, at one point in time, people snapped, and I was like, I feel like I'm a poet now.
Yeah, I did feel cool. It was amazing. Camp Halcyon was amazing. If you want to do something good with your life and time and spirit and soul, go. Like, we spent days making rockets and then playing adventure bocce and having a few drinks and meeting Panther Williams. Savage Bingo, that doesn't even make sense to you, but you don't need to know. It's so much fun.
Yeah, if you want to go into the woods, meet a bunch of strangers who are kick-ass.
Some of the nicest people.
Shoot some arrows at an archery course. Climb a big log.
Get in the water.
They had a heated pool at that camp. It's such an incredible time and such and like, I can't stress enough that like all that sounds fun. All the activities were great, but the people. From the people who run the camp, Director Ian and Ricky and Chelsea and like the whole crew. Dave, huge shout out to...
Dave was our boy. He was our audio boy and our soul. Just love him. Yep.
Our good friend Phil, who was the one who sort of like got our asses into camp.
And saved a baby squirrel. Speaking of Disney princesses.
Yeah. It's just a great time. There was just so much where every time Niall and I had done a camp like this about a decade ago, and we certainly look back at it with a bunch of fondness, and it's nice to...
almost too much fondness, to the point where going out, we were like, it's gonna be fun, but like, I've got to temper my expectations. Nah, man, it was fucking amazing.
And the other thing was, when we did those camps, we were single. We were single as hell.
Yeah.
We were too single.
There was a fuck yard.
And so I went in with a little bit of trepidation of being like, I'm gonna have a good time, but I think maybe the magic of this scenario might be a little lost because I'm not going to be on the prowl for an adult adventure.
I'm not going to be breaking into cabins and doing all sorts. That sounds wrong. We're breaking in collaboratively. The cabins are empty.
Yes. But I mean, like, at no point in time did I ever feel like I was missing out on anything as a man in a committed relationship.
No, that's right.
So once again, Camp Halcyon is if you are looking for something to get away, I think they have a few more camps this year.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. It's affordable. It's a great time. You're going to have the time of your life. And they're
just the loveliest. Like, literally have like 40 new friends.
Yeah.
Minimum. It's great. But enough about that for now. We'll probably talk about more.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about a few things today, such as being broken up with over a plastic bag.
A post-sex show.
Boyfriend, sister, weirdly obsessed with him.
And consensual wake-up sex.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
This is by Plenty Top 8523. My 20-year-old female boyfriend, 21-year-old male, wants to break up with me over a plastic bag. What do I do? Boyfriend and I have been dating for a few months. Went to the supermarket 3 days ago to get some groceries. I forgot to bring a bag from home, so I decided to get a bag from the store. He was planning on staying the night at mine, and I got some groceries that I was going to cook with for dinner because he doesn't cook, and some other stuff for me. Get to check out, and I end up forgetting to pay for the plastic bag. Boyfriend got mad at me, made me carry the bag through town. We end up going to a clothing store, and I kindly asked if he could hold it while I try something on, and he responded with, "I don't carry bags for thieves." Told me to put the bag down and try the clothes on. I did. When we got to the queue for the checkout, I looked at some accessories. He turned to me and said, "You gonna steal that too? Because you like stealing things, because you're a thief." He was loud when he said this, enough for other people to hear. The store is very busy, and I used to work there also. I felt humiliated. I quickly paid and rushed home. I was wearing new shoes that day and got blisters on my feet that were sore and bleeding. The bag was quite heavy, and that didn't help either. When we got home, he asked, "Have you learned your lesson yet? Are you going to pay for the bag next time?" I was extremely upset by the whole situation, so I brought up to him today how I felt really belittled and humiliated. His response was he didn't care about the bag, and if he really cared about the bag, he would have reported me to security at the store. He said it was the principle of not taking something that's not yours. I understand where he's coming from, and he did apologize for making fun of me in the clothing store. He tried to express why it made me upset yesterday, but he kept bringing up the bag, and he said he'd make me carry it again if I didn't pay for it. The bag was 30p. I felt like he wasn't listening to me, and he said I wasn't understanding the real problem. He ended up getting frustrated and walking home at 3 a.m. because he thought it was for the best, and we both needed space. No, honestly, I think this is silly, and I don't know if I should break up with him because of how this all turned out. Any advice?
I frequently and constantly tell people that lawful good characters can be interesting in Dungeons and Dragons and various tabletop RPG games. This is a man who has taken that to the extreme of not fun. Yes. Should you steal from things? No. Should you steal
Was it Loblaws? Because, yeah, dude.
Yeah. Should you steal from grocery stores that are gouging the shit out of all of us?
Yeah.
Hey.
The essentials we need to fucking live? Yeah, fuck them.
Would I steal? No. I don't think so. But if I look at my bag and I'm like, I didn't scan that. I would, not a single tear would be shed. Yeah. Capitalism is destroying our world.
Yeah.
And if I get away scot-free with a 30-cent bag, I'm not going to lose some fucking sleep over it.
No.
And this is where like this like false morality pisses me off, because I'm like, sure, you're getting all fucking up in arms about me not like accidentally not paying for it, because it also like it's not like she did it on purpose.
Yeah, also even if she did, it's a 30p fucking plastic bag.
So you're getting all upset about this, but like, is this dude also getting upset with the fact that grocery stores, and again, I don't know if it's like this around the world, but here in Canada,
we're getting fucked.
Yeah. Like grocery prices, I think of like
gleefully. They're like
70% increases.
We're getting the best amount of profits. Like, actually, fuck you. Like, we've members of the government bringing them into tribunals, being like, you're gouging people, and they're like, yup.
Yeah.
And then no one does anything.
What are you going to do about it, nerds?
And then they're just like, profit. And the worst part is, they've started to implement so many more, like, anti-theft things, like cameras and gates and, like, security people and all this shit. And I'm like, that sucks, because you're making extra money by gouging people. You're spending half that on people who... No one's stealing bread for fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're just scumbags. So, one, should we steal? Yeah. Am I stealing? No. Should I? Yeah. But you know what?
Yeah.
Hats off to this hero. But you're right. If we're talking about morality and morale police and blah, 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 I'm pretty sure it's a little bit more moral to accidentally steal a 30-cent pea bag than it is to be a fucking piece of shit to your partner all day.
Yes.
And abuse them and just be shit. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is like, this guy emotionally abused, regardless of your stance, right? Like, if he was really upset about this, you know what I would have done? I would have gone in and said, hey, sorry, my partner forgot to pay for the bag. Here's 30 cents.
And you know what they would have said? It's cool.
Yeah. Get away from me, you weirdo.
I don't want your grimy coins.
You change pervert. Get the hell out of here. You know, and like, I think that's a great point. Like, I wasn't even thinking about that, but it's like, yeah, it's like, who is more morally gross in this situation? Oops, forgot to pay for a bag, which really isn't your responsibility. Yep. That's the people cashing you out. They should have charged. Chances are the people cashing you out are probably like, fuck this place. I'm getting paid minimum wage. I don't give a shit.
Well, they're also gouging me and everybody. Like, it sucks. Oh, I'm not allowed to sit down for no reason? Cool. Fuck you. Here's a free bag.
Yeah. So it's, you know, it's dumb. The whole thing is dumb. And then to get on your high horse, like your moral police horse, about this one small thing. I'm sure that you could go through this man's fucking past. Like, even just like the last 30 days.
Hey, even the last interaction where he jumped at a chance to abuse you.
Yeah.
And that's it. I doubt he gives a shit about the bag. And if he does, that's an issue in itself. But what he's like actually wanting is a reason to be like, oh, I'm allowed to abuse you now.
Yeah.
This is my carte blanche to be mean for the day, and I get to be like, no, there's a reason. You thief.
And even if, like, that's not his thought process, even if that's not what he's doing, it is still what he did, right? Like, this is still something in his mind thinks he's, like, validated to do because he's, quote-unquote, in the right.
Yes.
So how many more times are there going to be things like... And also, morality is an objective scale, right? Like, what one person thinks is correct. Like, again, I got into a whole thing with my parents where... They were shocked and appalled that people were buying Lego sets, taking the Lego out, filling it with like pasta, and then returning it and being like, what a terrible thing. I was like, fuck that, man. Like, Lego sets for like a little tiny house now are like $80. I was like, sorry, but if my kid wants a Lego set and I'm poor and birthday's rolling around, I have no fucking problem stealing from a big box Walmart.
It's one thing if you're mugging your neighbor.
Yes.
Right? But also, is your neighbor a millionaire? No, like, we all know, eat the fucking rich. Like, these companies, I'm sure they just write that shit off on their taxes anyway. It's like, fuck them.
It's so, like, morality. It's not the same for everyone. What I think is right might be different than what you think is right. And there might be sort of a, you know, if you think, oh, it's okay to kill people, sure, it's fucked up. And I think, you know, collectively we get to decide sort of like what morality is. And I think collectively, if you got 100 people in a room and you said, hey, what do you think is worse? Treating your partner like shit all day and verbally abusing them and belittling them and making them feel bad, or
tiny accident,
not paying for a bag at a grocery store and realizing it after the fact.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think people would like put more weight on? Who do you think would be like, oh yeah, no, this person is way worse than this person?
I would say it's probably 100%. Like, I can't imagine
unless this guy is in the room, and then it's 99%. You know, it's so I think you need to look at not the micro transaction here of like, this is what happened today, but look at sort of like the big picture and be like, oh, hey, anytime I do something that this man has determined wrong or immoral or not up to his standards, he's going to treat you like shit.
And also, well, I think we can all agree this is one of the most minor things you could do.
Oh, yeah.
So what if you did something bigger? Does his response increase in kind? Because that's scary.
Yeah.
Because this is already pretty fucking extreme. Even if you'd done, like, something kind of bad. Like, you snuck a pepper. You know what I mean? That still wouldn't be okay. If you stole, like, a couple of Cliff Bars, that still wouldn't be okay. So, like, a fucking plastic... Like, literally the least... Also, I'm pretty sure that plastic bag is just tax that goes to the government.
Yeah.
So, like, who are you really stealing from? Us. The people. I take it back. No. It's like... And I think the worst part is, in situations like this, I almost feel like the person in the right, which is her, who's being abused, almost thinks like, no, I'm not allowed to be upset by this. It's such a stupid thing. But instead of thinking that way, it makes it worse. It's like, yeah, this isn't serious, but you're getting a serious reaction. You're getting in this serious situation. And it's like, yeah, it might suck to be like, we broke up over a plastic bag. Better than saying he fucking threw something at me over a Cliff Bar. I don't know why that's the go-to. I know someone used to rob him.
But also, like, if this guy is that upset, and, like, sure, if you want to be that sort of, like, morally pure, and you're that upset about it, then draw the line in the sand yourself, right? Like, if my partner, like, if I was with someone who frequently shoplifted, I don't think I'd want to date that person. You know what I mean? Like, if every time I went into a fucking drugstore, they came out with, like, pockets
drugs,
of fucking, like,
weed,
lipstick and mascara and shit, and I was just like, yeah, if you want to be this sort of, like, morally pure, and if this is so... No, I said that already.
You said you were the partner and they were always stealing, like, mascara or whatever.
I don't think I would want to be with that person, only specifically because, like, my anxiety of being, like, every time we walk into a store, I'm like... What are you gonna fucking steal? Like that to me, and like also if you're just stealing it for the sake of stealing it, it's a much different story.
Yeah.
So like I would get it. I don't think I would date someone like that. Mm-hmm. So the onus is on me now. Like if I want to stay with this person and every time they do it, yell at them and treat them like shit, then I'm just as shitty.
Yes.
Right? The onus is on me to be like, hey, I don't like this. So I'm going to give you the opportunity, like, I'm going to explain this to you and sort of, like, tell you how I feel about this situation and this behavior. And if you don't want to change, then, like, it's not my job now to make you feel like shit.
Yeah, you're not like, well, if they didn't catch you, it's my turn to punish you, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's just like, with this fucker, it's like, he's not even morally pure or whatever. So if you really have a partner doing this thing who thinks you did something wrong, it's fine if they talk to you and treat you still respectfully and appropriately. But if they just fucking are like, this is my chance, get the stick, like, no, that's fucked. You don't get to be like, oh, you did something wrong, so now I can do something wrong in turn, and it's fine. That's not how it works.
And I do want to, like, touch on that as well, where it's like, just because something, like, you can't just say, oops, that was an accident, and not incur a conversation of your partner's feelings, right? So, like, if this did bother him, he is 100% within his right to be like, hey, that made me feel really uncomfortable that you took this thing. Like, he's allowed to do that, right? Like, we're all allowed to...
a little weird over a plastic bag, but
For sure. But, you know, if that's what he's feeling, he's allowed to express his feelings in a respectful,
healthy,
and normal, and, like, non-hostile and non-abusive way.
Yeah. That's
sort of, like, the responsibility there. So, like, by all means, like, if your partner does something that you find irksome or you know... challenges your morals, for sure. You can't expect them to have the same morals, but what you need to expect is that, one, you will treat them with respect, and two, that they will listen to your side, and then you make your decision, right? Like, then you say, oh, hey, if you're not going to change, I'm going to go. Or if they're like,
oh, I understand it was an accident, and it's not a big deal, I just wanted to broach this. Like, I assume they're traumatized by some level of theft in the past.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Who knows? This is from a Jindem1. He watched porn and showed me photos and intimate videos of his exes after sex. Basically what the title said. I have a couple of insecurities about my body and I look completely different to what my boyfriend's exes did. He still says he loves me, how I am, and said I should love my body and be comfortable in my own skin. But 10 minutes after we finished, he started watching Twitter porn and showed me his exes having sex / giving him head, although he made sure not to show their faces. It made me feel
that's fine, though.
Oh, thank you. Great. It made me feel so bad and it felt like he didn't find me attractive, so we watched porn and old videos of his exes. I brought it up to him, and he said he just watched the porn to get him in the mood again. And he showed me pictures of his exes, so he knows he has nothing to hide. I haven't got over it, and I don't know what to do anymore.
That doesn't make sense. What, like, when were you being accused of having something to hide?
Yeah.
What conversation were you having in your head, sir? That's fucked. Yep. Like, to just, like, oh, you're insecure. Hey, how about, here's the thing. Here's the opposite. Here's what you don't want. No faces, though. That's fine, right?
Yeah, check this out. Look at this.
Look at these. Like, I need a transcript of the conversation. Just to see, was there any point where... there was a throwaway comment or like a mumble where it made in any way any kind of sense. Yeah. I know it didn't. But no, that's not it. You should be... One, it's illegal to just show someone else's fucking nudes without their consent.
Yep.
Regardless of whether you block their face out or not. So, fuck off. Two, There's very few situations where that's ever going to be cool to do to your partner, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I imagine the majority, if not every person, doesn't want to see a video of you having sex with your ex.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just out of just sheer comfort, let alone jealousy, insecurities, yada, yada. Like, if someone was like, if I had just, especially right after sex, like, all of it's bad. All of it's bad.
Yeah.
But even if I was talking to my current partner and we were like, oh, me and my ex used to have great sex, like, relationship wasn't great, but the sex was great. Even then,
it would be so weird to be like, look,
and
see?
like, check
this
it out.
this is what I was talking about. Remember the great sex? Yeah, this is it. Sorry, hold on, let me just block his face here. But there's his big old balls.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know,
them.
why is my ex a man?
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Was I being you?
I don't know. I thought you were.
Does it matter?
Yeah?
Why?
Because I've never dated a man.
Yeah, but we're playing in fiction here.
But I don't want to misrepresent my past, my sex life.
I was actually pretending to be your partner because in that thing you were like, imagine if my partner said this, so I was assuming their role. But you made it weird.
I did make it weird.
Yeah. So that's their big old balls anyway, and they're penduluming onto Dane's forehead.
I like the idea that, like, somehow you're blocking the face and their big old balls are sort of like cameras.
Yeah.
So he's like...
He's got the best angle. He's just like peeking over the
Looking
top
down.
of the big old balls. Yeah. Classic porn angle.
Great angle.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the only reason they've got the video out is to be like, hey, look what he's doing. Look what we used to do. We used to play peekaball.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know how to take videos.
Yeah.
But hey, here's an update. How do you think they resolved this?
I'm going to say midway through the conversation of them taking the advice from Reddit and trying to explain things, they were like, hey, cool, here's more.
Hey.
I've done this too long, man.
I decided to end things and my heart hurts, but I don't regret it one bit because after our bit of back and forth, he said, and I quote, I can send you more pictures of them now, and I hope this time it makes you not want to eat or sleep.
Oh.
So,
okay.
So just
what a surprise. He was doing it maliciously this whole time.
What a surprise. This guy's a piece of shit.
Man, I hate that I could call that, though.
Yeah.
Literally, we've done this too long.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's going to be it. No, man. I got to stay so I can do more camps.
Yeah. Like this whole situation, if anyone's ever done this to you, I cannot think, unless you've specifically said, hey, I know you have a bunch of videos of you and your ex. I would love to see one because I think that's hot.
And even then, I think half the time that's going to be a trap.
Yeah, I mean, like, the only way I can see it is, like, if you're into cucking or sort of like that.
And even then, it's kind of gross to do it without the partner's permission.
Yes.
So it's like, it's very rarely, because there's going to be very few times. The person you're dating is interested. You have the videos. They know about them. They want to see them. You have the permission of the prior partner and that's the one person in the room that hates plastic bag theft, right? Like, that's not going to happen very often.
Yeah.
So we can almost blanket ban you doing this to your partner.
Yes. If you have any sort of sexual content with a past partner, whether it's a person you hooked up with once or whether it's someone you dated, don't show it to the person you're currently sleeping with.
Or anyone without, again, express permission.
Yeah.
From both.
Yes. And if you don't have permission to take those videos, to fucking delete them, you scumbag.
Yeah.
I'll come and find you.
Mm-hmm. I'll do weird things to your phone.
It'll just be videos of me and Niall dipping our balls and peeking over them.
Peekaball.
Hello.
All right, let's get back into normal territory here. This is by throw a bunch of numbers. My 25-year-old female boyfriend's 26-year-old male sister is weirdly obsessed with him. He's taking her on holiday, and I don't know how to convince him. It's super weird. I've been dating Mike for just under 18 months. Our relationship has become really serious. We've started to discuss things like marriage, children, etc.
Sorry, how long?
18 months.
Okay.
So, a year and a half.
Yeah.
We moved from England to Wales about 6 months ago because I got a job opportunity that required us to relocate. He was able to convert to working from home, so he has stayed employed by his old company. We now live about 70 miles away from our hometown, because so far we rarely visit home, maybe once every 6 weeks or so. Whenever we do visit, we stay with Mike's parents, and every time we go, his sister is incredibly obsessed with Mike and will not leave him alone. This is the point where it's really weird, and I'm almost like she has romantic feelings for him. I brought it up to Mike, and he says I'm being crazy, but I'm not. For example, she will snuggle up to him on the sofa, so I have to sit somewhere else. She will ask for him to take her shopping to places that I don't like. She'll make him take her to restaurants and they'll have fancy meals together. It is so weird how she treats him like a boyfriend. They have a holiday to Spain booked for the summer, to the town where Mike grew up. They booked this before we were dating, but it's just the two of them going, and it makes me feel extremely uncomfortable. I first asked for him to change the booking so I could come along as well. Said I would pay for the extra, obviously. He said he contacted the travel agents, but they weren't able to change the bookings anymore, and that they couldn't book a separate package for me because the hotel was booked up. Yesterday I told him I think it's really weird he wants to spend 2 weeks alone with her in a foreign country, and when I said this to him, he blew up and kicked me out of the house. Like, genuinely kicked me out of the house for just questioning about this, which has made me feel like it's even more weird than I thought. We end up having a huge argument, like the biggest we've ever had. I'm now considering booking a separate hotel nearby the one they're staying at, just so I can keep an eye on her. I've been texting him and ringing him, and he hasn't answered or responded to me at all. I understand how he doesn't see this as weird, especially considering how obsessed she is with him, as I mentioned earlier. It makes me feel sick, and I don't know what to do. How do I express that this is not normal? How do I show him there's something weird about how his sister treats him?
This is tough, because I can feel like this could go one of two ways. One, it is exactly as she says, and there is like a very strange, like palpable, like sexual tension. Because I've seen this happen with siblings before. Like I've seen
porn.
No, I've seen
happens
siblings
all the time on Pornhub. Weirdly,
I've seen siblings where like there's a bit too much like intimacy, and not like they're making out or whatever, but it's just like they're just really close, and like there's a part of you that's just like, huh. But there's also a part of me that's like, are you an incredibly jealous person, or does she not like you?
So, you want the update?
Yeah.
Well, not an update, but you could go through the comments. People ask what the sister's age is. What do you think her age is?
I'm going to guess younger. I'm going to guess like a fairly young sister.
9.
Oh, boy. Oh.
Everything's just changed, right? Everything has changed so much. Because you're like, you're going through it and you're like, oh, okay, this person does seem a little okay, but 9.
Yeah.
Cuddling up on the couch. Oh, it makes a lot of sense all of a sudden. Hanging out. Obsessed with Big Brother.
Going to stores that your adult girlfriend doesn't like.
Fucking hate Build-A-Bear.
Fucking Toys R Us again? There's nothing there for me.
God damn it.
I hate it. Go to fancy dinner. Like, oh my God.
Fancy, was it McDonald's?
Yeah.
Was it McDonald's? Was it fucking Wendy's? Like,
no, it's going to be fancy, so there's going to be menus.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Right? Like Olive Garden or Chili's, Applebee's. Right?
Yeah, it's fancy. It has unlimited breadsticks. That means you could eat forever.
Yeah.
It's fancy.
She doesn't eat for free. It's fancy.
Oh, damn.
Right? It's, oh my God, the 9 years old is I was going to guess like, maybe like 14, 15, 16. Right? And like that, I think, would trigger a visceral response in someone being like, you're a man and there's a young woman, like an underage woman. And like, you know what I mean? It's like, maybe that I can see sort of like pinging. Because I think if I saw an adult man being overly affectionate with a younger woman, regardless of relation, there would be that like, I don't like that. So like, that's where I was thinking. I was going to guess like it was going to be like a teenage, but like,
nothing listed is weird.
No.
Not a single thing listed is in any way weird for a fucking 9-year-old. And the fact that you're going to go and get a hotel near them and creep? Guess what's weird, bud?
Like, the thing is like, you're like, oh, she's obsessed with him. It's like, do you think they're fucking? Do you think the man you love and want to marry is having sex with his 9-year-old sister?
Because if so, FBI, please.
Yes.
Interpol, I guess, because it's in England or Wales. I forget which one they went from to. Sherlock Holmes, please. I need you to catch the mystery of the pedo brother.
It's wild to me that... But
also, the weird thing is she never mentions him.
Yes.
She never says, like, oh, he's being weird. It's she's being weird. That little fucker. That little 9-year-old bit. Like,
it's... Yeah.
Girl... Therapy.
It now makes sense why this man freaked the fuck out on me. Because if
someone insinuated that to me in any way, shape, or form, I would be like, what the fuck?
Because, like, look, I would get it of being like, okay, we go home, first time you meet my family, my little 9-year-old sister is, like, all over me. I'm like, that's the age where kids still look up to parents.
Yeah,
older brothers.
Your older brother who hasn't been home in ages, and like you come home and take him out for fucking fancy dinners to Olive Garden. Like that's the best.
And it's like probably she grew up with him just long enough to like some of the more formative stages, right? Like, I don't know how long they've been moved out, but like if she was, 5, 6, 7, that's the time when like kids start to like actually like generate bonds and form like, relationships and stuff. So it's like, she's just formed this like really cool thing with this really cool guy that you've admitted is a great dude.
Yeah.
He fucks off. Of course she's going to be, when he's around, be like,
also, like,
I miss you.
When you get to your family, it's great.
Yeah.
So like, what the fuck?
Like, okay, let's fast forward. You guys get through this.
No, you guys go on the trip, and he's like, is that Sinead? And Sinead's on the balcony with a fucking pair of binoculars.
I imagine she's got like the head wrap. Like
yes, for sure.
The head wrap on as well.
Like, or you do something like she hops out of the pool and gives you a hug, and you see her, aha!
I knew
from
it.
the pool, like, like what? Or someone arrests her because she's on the balcony creeping on children. Like, nothing good goes right from this fucking hotel.
But okay, let's just say that we get past this. You guys get married, you start a family, you have kids. Your daughter's 9. What happens?
Your daughter's like, I love 2 people in the world because I'm 2, and one is mommy, and one is, wait, what?
What? Hold on.
Daddy? Why are you obsessed with him?
Why are you obsessed with Dad? Always want to watch movies with him? Oh, now he's taking you out to the mall?
You went for a walk to the park? Like, girl, break up with him for his sake. And this poor young girl's sake.
I mean, it certainly sounds like this dude knows what he needs to do. Like, him being like, no, you can't come on the fucking relation, or like the trip.
On the relationship.
I was thinking like, end the relationship. Because it's like, chances are she's going to make this poor 9-year-old girl feel so uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
She's going to be so jealous. She's going to want all the attention. Like,
I would never let this person near my family.
Yeah. I mean, like, I get now with it. Like I said, like, I get why. Because, like, imagine, okay, the first time it happens where you just be like, wow, your sister really likes you. And you're like, yeah, she's just the best. Like, we're best friends. She's my little...
Like, no, she, like, really likes you. It's like, yeah.
You're like, okay, yeah, sure. And then, like, every time you go home, your sister's like, oh, so you're taking her to the mall, huh? It's like, yeah.
You might be
she can't go to the mall by herself. She's 9.
And you might be like, okay, it sucks, but I guess she's jealous that, like, I'm not spending time with her. Which is shitty to do to someone when they're, like, hanging out with their fucking family. Yeah. But I'm sure it didn't cross his mind that this was it. Yeah. And then when it got to that point, thank God he was like, get the fuck out. And hopefully he never talks to her again. But girl, you need so much therapy.
Yes.
You need so much help.
Because, again, if there was a problem here, if there was inappropriate contact and things that it's not her fault. She's the child.
Yes.
Like, you should be angry at the adult in the situation.
For sure. And again, it's not I'm annoyed on Reddit. It's a police.
Yeah.
Everybody. Get the fucking authorities. Tell our parents. Like,
please tell me that people fucking skewer. Did she respond to any of the 9-year-old questions? Like, what was her response? Like, that, like, I need to. I usually don't give a fuck about comments.
We got some key. How old are the sister? Blah, blah, blah. She's 9, but will be 10 this year. First comment, you need therapy. I'm struggling to see what the issue is. How old's the sister? What do you mean you're struggling to see the issue? I'm worried if that's the case. There's nothing weird about the sibling relationship you describe. Only problem here is you. You don't think it's weird how obsessed she is with him? Or when I question him on the relationship, he kicks me out of the house? It was like, she's 9. She idolizes and looks up to her big brother. You're making this weird. You need to get a grip, woman. So, yeah.
Good. Great.
Yeah.
That's real bad. I don't like it one bit.
No, it's fucking horrendous, and girl, you need, like, just... Ugh.
So much therapy.
Too much therapy.
This is from Obi Stray. Consensual wake-up sex? So, as the title says, my boyfriend said he's into the idea of being woken up by sex if he were to wake up with a hard-on. But, in uncertain terms, conversation went like this. Boyfriend. Question. What would you do if I woke up in the morning to me having a boner during the time we wake up together? Which is, hey, that's a weird sentence to say.
That hurts.
Me, I'm not too sure.
Hey, what would you do if I had a boner between the hours of 9 and 10? Like,
I'm not too sure. What would you like me to do? Haha. Well, I wouldn't mind you doing what you want with it. I don't know whether to take this as consent, as the terms were quite uncertain. Wondering how to bring this up again, just to be sure that if he was okay with it if I were to do it.
So, 2 things. 1, it did seem to say you are both awake. So, that seems like a different situation to what you're describing. Yeah. 2, if consent is ever unclear, clarify. It's that simple. Go, hey, seems like you wanted me to wake you up with sex. If I notice you with a boner, are you cool with that? And then if he says yes, be like, okay, maybe next time I will.
Well, you touched on a very important thing. You're not describing wake-up sex. You're describing morning sex.
Yes.
You've woken up and you're waking up together, it seems.
He literally did say if we woke up together and I had a boner, which is also just a weird hypothetical. It's like, what would you do if we were doing the dishes and I had a boner? Like,
what would happen there?
Yeah, riddle me this. Like,
I like it. Just like he's like at the end of the night, they're sitting. He's got his like smoking jacket on. They're sitting in front of the fire. They're both reading their books. Darling, what would you do if right now I had a boner? Like,
I don't know, baby. What would you like me to do with a haha, lol?
Yeah, whatever you would like.
And then they go back to their
go back to reading their fucking books.
What are you doing? What are you fucking doing?
I do like the idea that this guy is just like in various things of just like, while I'm cooking dinner, boner, what happens?
What if I'm trimming the weeds from the lawn and upon my return you notice I have pitched a little weed of my own? Wouldst thou pluck it?
I'm drying off after a cold shower, and yet you still see that I'm quite engorged. What doth thou do?
What then?
I don't know why he's become
he's gotten
Shakespearean.
This is fucking weird, guys. Like, the question's weird. The response is weird. The fact that you went... Look, it seems like this is the thing you want to do. If it's this thing you want to do, and if you're unsure on whether or not you have consent to do it, don't do it. Clarify.
Yeah.
If you talk to him and you're like, hey, I'm gonna wake you up if you're asleep with sex, and he wants it, he will say, hell yeah. If he doesn't, he will say, and then, great. There's your answer. That's it. No one's gonna be like, whoa. It's weird that you asked.
And you can also be, it's like, you can, like, consent can't sort of be, like, scheduled. You can't, like, schedule consent, right? You can sort of, like, talk about the things.
On the morn of the 5th, perhaps, may I bestow upon you my boner.
When the crow doth crow. So you can be like, hey, this is something I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And while I'm waking up, if I might not be into it, so please don't take offense if I say no. Please don't take offense if I sort of like shift away. Mm-hmm. God only knows how I'm going to sleep that night. God only knows how I'm going to feel in the morning.
What if you have morning wood, but you also really need to piss?
This is specifically why I do not want ever to be woken up with a sexual act, because I would say every morning wake up. The only reason I get out of bed is because I have to piss terribly. Yeah. So if I'm on the verge, if I'm teetering on piss canyon, and you start doing things to me, I don't want to piss on you.
What if you're asleep and there's a warm wetness on your penis? And all of a sudden your brain's like, let loose.
Hey,
soldier,
we did it. And now you're fucking gargle blasting my piss down your throat.
Yeah, and you haven't consented to be piss blasted by a sleeping man.
Yeah.
Although, what if? No. Like, I don't think I would just pee. I think I would wake up and be like, oh no. And but then the nightmare of needing to pee, but having a boner, and then you're trying to wait for it to go down, but then the more you think of it,
and
it
then
doesn't,
also it's like,
and then you're like...
You go piss, and then you're like... Hey, do you want to suck on the thing I just pissed out of? That all, like, to me doesn't feel good. So like mentally, like, I don't want to be like, this just pissed. No, put it in your mouth. Like, that's weird to me. So like, I just don't want. I want like.
Yeah.
I'm okay with morning sex. Big fan of morning sex, but I want a little buffer. I want a buffer time to like piss, maybe brush my teeth a little bit.
That's another thing.
Because I got morning breath.
Yeah, it's you know, but again, clarify.
Yeah.
If you don't know, clarify. Always consent can be withdrawn.
And there's nothing wrong with, again, you can ask for consent through statements, in the sense of being like, you roll over in the morning and you guys are kind of like cuddling. Not in this scenario.
No, not in what he said, but in what she's putting forward, his statement would be like,
yes, true.
And she's like, that's it.
But you wake them up with like a around the area touches to sort of like signify, and then you'd be like, hey, I really want to suck your dick. Hey, I really want to give you a hand job. Hey, I really want to ride you. And then go from there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I don't also think that wake up sex is like, no, you have to be asleep when it starts.
Yeah.
It could be like, you'll wake them up and immediately start to fuck. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, talk to him. Clarify.
I don't know if I could have sex with someone who's asleep.
No, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think physically my body would be like, we're not doing this.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, It wouldn't work unless they're such a deep sleeper. And if they're sleeping that deep, I'd be like, that would feel so wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I've definitely gotten, like, night horny and, like, but you're generally both kind of awake. And then things happen, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, if they were asleep, no.
No.
No. You want one quick one?
Hit me with a quick one.
Do I have a quick one? Okay, let's do it. This is by Infinite Tension. She updated her Hinge pics and prompts sexually.
Whoa.
I, male 25, have been on 3 dates with a girl, female 24. The dates have gone well, I think. We kissed on the last 2. We have a 4th date tonight. I have paused my Hinge account as I can't multitask like a lot of people on online dating, but I was curious about her profile, so checked it out. She updated her pics. Fair enough. I wouldn't after a couple dates plus with someone, but that's her choice. She also changed her prompts to instigate sexual conversations / flings by talking about orgasms. Should I say something to her? Is it a sign I should end it? I'll add an update when I have one.
Hey, for her sake, yeah, end it.
Yeah, dude, what are you doing, man? Like,
I've always, like, I like to, like, pop onto people's profiles after I've met them, just to see, like, what's changed.
Yeah.
And that's more just out of morbid curiosity, more than, like, me checking up on them or whatever.
Just says no Danes. It's weird.
But it's kind of fun to, like, see someone, like, if someone's changed their thing, for, like, before it was, like, it seemed very, like, relationship focused, and now you're in, like, a casual thing, and now they're like, yeah, casual's okay. Like, that's, I've seen that happen a lot with people that I've been, and I'm like, okay, cool, like, you've changed from, like, you like the casual thing with me so much that you're willing to, like,
that you've given up on love.
You
had such a bad time, you realize it's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen, no one will ever.
Casual's the best you'll get with some fucking podcast scrub.
Oh, God. Don't say it like that.
Like, dude, what are you doing? One, it's like, I paused it, but not creeped her. Like, you're saying you can't multitask like a lot of people on online dating. Hey, like a lot of people, say that again. Just repeat it to yourself. Yeah. Just because you almost have the capability to see what you want and what you're capable of.
Yep.
But you don't somehow have the ability to apply it to this person who is one of those people you mentioned. Or if you do, that's not cool. Like, fuck off, dude. I would love to know what you said about orgasms.
Yeah, my guess is it's probably a joke.
For
and
sure.
Probably like a pretty low-hanging one. And yeah, it's probably nothing, and he's probably just like, but the guys are just going to be all the sex.
She updated her prompt sexually. I just imagine her, like, typing them in, like...
Yeah. She's like...
it's the slide, but it's slow.
She's just covering herself in whipped cream
typing
and, like,
with her tongue.
Oil.
Yeah, dude, calm the fuck down. Also, change your pics. Fair enough. And then immediately, I wouldn't after a couple of days plus, but that's her choice. So it's not fair enough to you, is it? Fuck off, dude. It's gonna be the worst fucking date. He's gonna show up and be like, hey.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. $5 says he goes on this date. He's a piece of shit the whole way through and is fucking weird. And then he's like, see, I knew she was moving on. It's like, nah, dude. Like, you threw the wrench in your fucking spokes and...
You put a wrench right in your chest.
Right in your chest.
And that fused to your bone. This is not going to make any sense to anybody.
Nope. It's bad and I don't like it.
You suck, dude. Get the fuck over it.
That is going to do it for this week's episode, friends. Before we go, do you want to do Tinder? I don't want to do Tinder.
Let's fucking not do it. We're allowed.
We're so tired. We're so overworked.
So tired.
We haven't really recovered from our weekend in the Poconos and our week in New York. And I just don't want to.
No. And you know what? We're almost at 300 episodes. We've never missed a week. So
we can do whatever we want.
We can do whatever the fuck we want. What we want to do is thank you for being here with us. We love you. Everyone who supported us, everyone who does support us. And if you're not supporting us, one, you are because you're listening. So boom, thank you.
Got
Two,
you,
there are other ways to do it. Join us on Patreon, please. You'll find links to it everywhere. Type in F Buddies Podcast or patreon.com/FBuddies, I think.
Podcast or F Buddies.
I
don't know. Go to fbuddiespodcast.com and click the Patreon link. That's the best way to do it.
That one works. Yeah. We love you. Or, share a video, comment on the video, like a video, rate us, review us, tell a friend.
And look, if there's one thing we learned this weekend and from doing our live shows, a lot of people see our show and they go, ugh, But you know better than that. You know that it's not what most people think it is.
And by that, Dane means like they haven't gone to a show and gone, ugh.
Yeah.
They see, two white straight guys talking about sex and go, ugh. And I get that.
Hey, we get it.
We have no problems with that.
We understand.
They're coming from a smart place. If they were like hype, then I'd be the one worried.
I would do the same thing as you. We get it. But you guys are in the know. You guys know that we're not that.
Yeah.
So maybe don't just say like, hey, check out this podcast. It's really funny. Because a lot of people are going to roll their eyes and be like, we don't want this. So maybe explain a little bit
about why you like
it. And maybe explain like, hey, they're sex positive. Hey, they, they're supportive. They're
the bears
feminists.
like them.
They're bears love them.
That's the thing. You're in the forest. Do you choose man or bear? You choose bear. Well, guess what? Bear chose us. How about that?
Yeah.
Catch me outside. Catch me in the woods. How about that?
Catch me in the woods.
Thank you, Josh Eagle and the Harvest Series for their song Paper Stars. I got a real swift bad sex writing here. It's from a book named Rubicon by Agnar Michael.
I thought you were going to read like Taylor Swift lyrics.
Maybe I am. Her breasts were like birds. Big, warm, wild birds. They throbbed, tickled, waited.
What birds and boobs are you looking at, dude?
Whose birds are throbbing?
If there's a throbbing...
Whose boobs are throbbing?
Nothing. I just want to get all these guys, and I know there are a few women as well, in a room and just be like, have you seen one? Have you seen a boob? Have you touched a boob?
Have you seen a bird?
Have you seen bird? Here's a bird, here's a boob.
Describe, is it the beak and the nipple? Very different.
Yeah.
Shape, texture, size, color.
Tell me how compare these. Go, right now.
Do you know what throbbing is? Write it down. I guess they might wait. But even then, birds aren't, like, maybe waiting a worm. Like the ones that tap the ground and hope that the worm thinks it's rain and comes up and they go...
Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, I don't know. It's bad. My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain.
And we've been your fuck buddies.